That looks good. That looks that looks good. Good evening, everybody. Got that. Just waiting for the YouTube preview here to pop up. That looks good. We are golden. Awesome. Hey there, hi there, everybody. Hope you all are having an excellent evening or morning, depending where in the world you're at. Glad to have you here. Today is a big day. Today was the first day of the AEGON Arena. I haven't even started a streak yet, so that's what first part of this stream is going to be, is just getting a streak up and then going through the sixes, going through the fives, and then seeing where we wind up in a couple hours time. It's going to be a really laid back grind. I'm just going to be going for milestones again in the AEGON Arena. Fortunately, I already have the 5-star champ. But even if I didn't, that 70 million cutoff that from the first round is pretty intimidating. So if you're going for the 5-star, I do wish you the best of luck. I don't envy that grind at all. But hello to those of you who are watching live. Thank you. Hello. Glad you. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you who are watching in the future, thank you for finding the channel amongst the depths of the YouTubes. Appreciate that. I also want to take this chance to give a big howdy and welcome to the new Von subs, new subscribers to the channel. I really appreciate that you hit the sub button. I am beside myself in gratitude that you like the content that you see and you're interested to see what else I put out. And you and me both. So I'm real glad to have you here. But without much further ado, let's just get straight away into the grind. So I threw in my first round of 4 stars, I think as soon as the arena started, and I just kind of forgot about it. It's been a really busy day. What's up, Nathan? How are you, man? Hope you're doing well this fine day. I'm still running double edge, so half suicides. So any damage that you see here or boosted PI or any of that is strictly because of that. But like I was saying, today is super busy, so I'm still going to be shooting for the 1 to 10% milestones in Arena. And that's going to wind up being about 16 million-ish. That's where I wound up last time, and it worked out pretty well. But we'll see, because right now, concurrently to this arena, is the Act 7 beta, which most fortunately I was invited to join in on. I did a live stream earlier today as it went live, and I just proved to the world and to the YouTubes what an absolute scrub I am, going in blind and performing under pressure. So that's fun. That having been said, I am going to keep going into it. See about doing 100% completion, but if nothing else, just getting a bunch of more in-depth strats involved. What they seem to be doing, from people who have run betas in the past, as well as unconfirmed Kabam accounts, is that they're going to be releasing the first 3 parts, first 3 chapters in Act 1, one every 2 days. So they aren't going to be releasing the entire Act 1, just the first 3 chunks. And based off of what I saw for the first one that was released today, I think it's mainly just testing out some of the new nodes that they're coming out with. There were a whole heap ton of new nodes here today with a lot of fun and interactive stuff. Overall, I think it's okay. I think if it's something that we wound up fighting in like a monthly quest, I think that could be a lot of fun. But with the boosted health pools of the Act 7 champs, relative to even maxed out 5 stars and their damage output, it's challenging. I'll say that. Is it fair? Kind of. Is it challenging? Definitely. So from what I saw so far, is that there are a couple of paths where you can use anybody, which is great, or at least a variety of champions, which is good. But there are a good number of other paths where if you don't have a certain A champ or B champ, you're just going to be in for a world of hurt. So that's not fun. When I looked earlier on the forums, they hadn't opened up the beta forums to the beta testers to just ask questions and post concerns and this, that, and the other yet. So I'm hoping they're going to be doing that soon. If they haven't done that already. Because, there's a couple of things I want to comment on for sure. But after I got through one path, then dived into just a couple of other fun side projects related to the beta, which I'm going to be putting out here hopefully later tonight, if not tomorrow morning, which is going to be open for everybody. So it's going to be one of the first content pieces I put out outside of YouTube, which will be pretty cool. And, go from there. So, fun times. And then we'll see what Chapter 2 is on tomorrow or Wednesday, whenever it's released. I'm kind of hoping they just do one a day. That way we still have the rest of the week to really go in and, go deep into the weeds with different character combos and analyzing the nodes, and if it's really fair and balanced or if it's fun and interactive, But so far, jury's out. I think one of the things I was more disappointed in was that there was no sign of potential rewards anywhere. Much like how it was when they were releasing chapters for Act 6, you just have a bunch of question marks in terms of potential prizes for initial completion, for exploration, and all of that. And I believe that's because they don't even know yet, especially for, the overall Act 7 100% completion bit, right? But I would have liked to have seen something, just to get a sense of where they anticipate taking the game in the next 4 months, whatever it is. Because my guess is that Act 7 isn't going to be out until fall. Or at the very least, I'm hoping it's not going to be out till fall. But they're just throwing a bunch of stuff together right now with stuff they had in the works, with some new nodes. And I'm assuming that we probably would see the nodes first in Alliance War before we wind up seeing them in Act 7. But, we'll see. We'll see. I will say the one thing that I noticed more than anything is just the bots teleporting a whole lot more than they do anywhere else. Whether it's in the previous story content or variant or even arenas, those bots were moving. And I'm not okay with that. I mean, it's not like there's, at the end of the day, there's really a whole lot I can do about it. It's just the game. But, when there's so many other, I don't want to say gotcha mechanics, but there's so many other considerations to think about. Just between all the characters' kits, what they can do, what they, how they interact with everything, in addition to new nodes that, I just saw for the first time today, and existing nodes that we've gone up against in the past. Really, the last thing I need to worry about, too, are bots teleporting 3 spaces ahead, just so their special attack can connect. But we'll see, we'll definitely see. I'm not discounting the Act 7 just yet. From what I had seen so far, it isn't anywhere near as egregious as Act 2 was. Act 6, Chapter 2. You can use 5 stars still, which is fantastic. There weren't any champion gates in Chapter 1, at least. So that's good. That's good. See how it goes. But you know, that all having been said, it's nice to be able to take a step back from that for a couple hours and just mindlessly put up some arena points. Get to use my go-to arena champs. Get to use people I wouldn't ever use otherwise. Just take a breather. Well, if I can go a minute without getting punched in the face by a King Groot, that'd be much appreciated. But there's that. That should be what working on win number 5 right now. Excellent. Cheers. But for you guys, how did first round of the AEGON grind go? Were you guys trying to go for them? Did you get them? Or just go for some milestones for a more casual, relaxed arena? Either way, hope it went well. And I will say it will be really interesting to see what what winds up happening with the Black Widow grind here. Sorry, the Black Widow grind here coming up, starting next week. With her being a new champ and all, it'll be interesting to see if she winds up going as high as Storm X did, if she goes as high as Supreme went, or if she's going to wind up going a bit lower just because everyone's kind of had, is still coming off of this ridiculous AEGON grind. So it'll be interesting. I will say I'm very much looking forward to the round of content creator videos coming out between Dave and BG and a bunch of others, just for their own unique takes on the character, and see if there's something about Black Widow that will earn her place amongst a very, very dense pantheon of amazing skill champs. Come on. And this is my favorite part of building up the arena streak. Stingy, stingy AIs. But that wound up working out okay, so I will take that. I will definitely take that. Now, it hasn't happened yet, but I am looking forward to next week, this time at the latest, when the Black ISO market resets itself, go in and try my luck for the 5-star Electro. I still am very much hoping to pull that champ naturally out of one of those featured crystals before the crystal resets. But also, most fortunately, the crystal isn't going to be resetting for at least another couple months, so there's time. And who knows, maybe I'll wind up completely lucking out and pulling a 6-star Electro, and then it won't matter as much. But he is a fun champ to play, even still, even today. And then also just mainly for the... none of these are great options. For the stealthy synergy. So I think that could be pretty interesting. With the interaction there. And then also just because, frankly, I haven't played Electro in any sort of story content for ages and ages. I think really the only time I ever use Electro is for some of those aggression fury nodes. You know, the ones where you have a Heimdall on your team, you can cheese it. And if you play some pretty solid defensive gameplay, while the bots get 20, 25. Oh, that's fun. 20, 25 Fury stacked on them. Then you can just absolutely melt them by letting them touch you. Just because Electro is spicy like that. But if you don't have an Electro, it works well with Quake as well, just not as well. Now, I know I had said in a previous stream that I was not going to be spending any units on anything until Hopper arrives in about 3 weeks' time. And then even still, see about stretching that out till the big summer sale. But I had a pop for a couple of potions, so that's why there's that slight dip in my reserve there. So figured I'd come out and confess that to the YouTubes. But that is still the goal, just to save every bit that I can for that Red Guardian. Assuming, of course, that his final kit in hand is as much fun and as useful and interesting as the original, let me see, the original leaks would have you believe, so we'll see. But speaking of war, it is the last war of the season right now. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a bit excited about that. It's been a good season. We've had a really, really solid season. Fortunately, I'm paired up with a whole bunch of solid players, reliable players more than that. And, you know, we've made some pretty cool stuff happen. Looking forward to stitching together a video just with some of my Void adventures with the countless numbers of Infinity War Iron Men that I've fought this season. Because with Flo as the king of this season for just about everybody, definitely had a chance to practice up on my Quake skills, practice up on my Void skills, and without fail, there was always at least one Iron Man Infinity War. Well, I got wrecked. That wound up having to fight each war. Well, that was quite lucky. Quite lucky. I will take that. So if you have a Void, and if you have a Infinity Man that just needs to get punched in the face, you've got yourself a really solid option right there from the word go. So that'll be fun. I'm not promising when that's coming out, but it is going to be coming out. It's just a little bit lower down on the to-do list than some of the other things I got going. We'll just say to be determined. What isn't to be determined, and that's definitely going to be coming out, is a very, very fun video tomorrow. So the second parter of the crystal opening that I did, and that posted on Sunday. And I wound up deciding to split it into 2 videos instead of just one, because the runtime was really starting to add up. All said and done, it would have been over an hour worth of raw footage edited down to something a bit more manageable. But even still, it would have been too dense, I think. Exciting for me, and I think there's a lot of cool stuff in there. But you know, I like breaking it up into more manageable, digestible chunks. So. Part 1 was crystal opening. Part 2 are some pretty exciting rank ups. So, those of you who are watching right now, it's already spoiled for you. You just need to look at my roster, and there's a couple of new faces, and a couple of noticeable promotions. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited still. But with war ending tomorrow, that does mean, hopefully, that I should be in a pretty good place to do another fun rank up here within the next week. Probably wait for the next level up event, but one last outlier that I just don't have the tier 5 basic for. But with a bit of luck, we'll be looking to change that here real soon. And then also too, I just really hope that everyone's been doing their due diligence up until now, and that we get those Alliance War season rewards within the 12 hours or so of the season ending, instead of having to wait days or weeks like in seasons past. Preferably. Have you guys had a how's the war season been working out for you guys? So no, because war can definitely seem like it can go on and on. Whereas AQ is broken down into nice little week size for 5-day bundles. 5 days on, 3 days off, so on and so forth. A bit more digestible, but war is a bit more intense, I think. And then with the season, you got your natural highs and you got your natural lows, just depending on who you end up going up against. Sometimes you're fighting and you feel like you're really dialed in, and other times you're fighting and feeling like the game's got your number. And then that in turn kind of just affects your performance going forward. So it's definitely a whole lot of that. Alright, so there we go. We are at win streak number 10, which means I can throw in my Yeah, let's do this actually. Throw my Ghost Rider at Sparkles. Throw Blade at Fury. Sparky v Sparky. It's just really fortunate how this team winds up working out in this situation. They're a really solid team by themselves, but really it's the power control that makes this team shine here in this situation. Case in point. I've got a dude chasing me around from one end of the stage to the other, and that's no fun. Most fortunately, this Nick Fury here is not awakened. That should make for an easy time. Just fight the real dude from the get-go. Don't need to worry about him zombieing back to life for no other round, you know? Want to take the chance to wish you guys a very happy May the 4th. For those of you celebrating all things Star Wars today. Not going to spoil anything. I saw the series finale of Clone Wars last night, actually. I stayed up for it. And again, no spoilers. But I'm very happy. Very, very, very happy. It was a fun way to end the season. It was a fun way to end the series, I think. I think it's... I haven't seen Rebels, so I was probably going to start binging that next. But I think it's interesting the way that they chose to end it in relation to the way that Revenge of the Sith ended. But that is about as much as I'm going to say about that, because then that starts getting into spoiler territory, and ain't nobody wants that. It's strictly a spoiler-free zone. This is just a safe haven for punching dudes in the face until they don't get back up, in the hopes of chasing fractions of crystals in order to get more dudes to punch people in the face. Now, most fortunately, this void here is not paired up with anybody to give him that Avengers synergy, because otherwise, Vision here would immediately have Fear the Void on him, and the damage output, the block damage and debuff damage would just be, that'd be too much. Pretty sure that Vision, even fighting aggressively, wouldn't be able to outpace it. Presumably. If it was a 5-star, like a high sig 5-star, that's probably the case. 6-star might have been able to get away with, just because he didn't have the sig bonus to speed things up, but... But, as it stands, it wound up working out pretty okay, and I cannot complain about that. And there we go. The man with the power of a whole bunch of suns against Dr. Voodoo Man. Okay, so stealthy here. Already blew his evasion charge, so that should make my life pretty easy until he launches a special again. Or that timer runs out. Either way, I'm not too terribly worried. Even though this guy is at high sig, high level at least. Champ. He still is mighty squishy. And that squish is something that we very much appreciate. Well, me at least, going in with 4 stars. Cheers. And there we go. That is the end of the 4-star era right there. Dive right in. Start going ham with some of the 5s. And continue to inch forward to win 20. Just keeping the show on the road. Now for kicks the other day, because I wound up waking up my Red Skull. Start playing around with Red Skull just to see, you know, how's the dude handle here in 2020, and certainly in light of many other champs that can do similar things to his kit. And I still like Red Skull. I think his optimal rotation is interesting, and then especially some of the tricks that he can wind up pulling out of his sleeve are, you know, pretty utilitarian. I just think his numbers need a boost. Like, take for example, a duped Red Skull can get anywhere between 3 and 7% power by pressing and holding heavy, charging a heavy, right? Plus you get an extended heavy charge timer. So you can just really let it go for a while. It's got a synergy with Omega Red, which is excellent because Omega is super useful and probably on your team already if you've got him. Wherein, by charging your heavy, you go unstoppable for a couple of seconds and immediately throw heavy if you get hit with the unstoppable up. Which is great because that gives them a bit of survivability, a bit of utility, and then you can immediately put the heal block on people without having to worry about timing your heavy intercepts perfectly. Problem is that charge rate is so slow that even if you get someone who's just, you know, turtling up or just standing there letting you do your thing, it's still going to take you like 6-7 seconds of completely uninterrupted charging to get to 1 bar of power to do anything with. Which then, you know, defeats the purpose of all of his fun abilities. You know, you can refresh the duration of the shocks you get from a special 2 by using a special 1, right? So the ideal setup is you throw a special 2, assuming you've got the Omega on your team, you heavy charge, gain up power, and then by the time you've finished charging up your heavy, you should be at a bar of power. Launch the special 1, refresh the shocks, slather, rinse, repeat, right? Always keep shocks up on the opponent. You aren't losing your armor ups, which means you have a huge crit resilience. Makes them, you know, useful. But the fact that it just takes too long and then the numbers are low, it's disappointing. Like a lot of the champs in the game, he's got good potential, right? The things that he can do are good and interesting and unique. But because, you know, he's an old champ from a couple years ago and the game just keeps ramping up and scaling up like there's no tomorrow, with new people coming out all the time with new abilities and a whole heck of a lot of gacha mechanics, dude's just fallen by the wayside, which is most unfortunate. So, Red Skull, in a nutshell. Less of the synergies. He gets interesting synergies with other champs, but the problem is that most of the other champs he synergizes with aren't champs you would want to bring on your roster anyway. You know, if the synergies actually boosted each other to be each other's killer app, kind of like how Domino is with Red Hulk and Masakra, right? Because who would play Masakra otherwise? Or bring him with? Come on, my dude. But those guys work extremely well together. They work really as a sum of their individual parts. Red Skull is not, he does not do that. So that was kind of disappointing. There's, like I said, there's a bunch of other champs like that. You could all just use a bit of a tweak. The part I don't really understand, though, is why that doesn't happen. One of the other games I play a good bit of is Borderlands, right? And it seems, you know, every week, every couple of weeks, they release new patch notes with bug fixes, updates, rebalances, whole 9 yards, right? Now, granted, they're a full studio, but you would think with the revenue that this game is bringing in, and the popularity and the longevity of it, maybe they could do something similar. Once a week, just tweak the numbers of some underutilized champ just a wee bit, make them a bit more viable. I certainly wouldn't mind. And then, sure, let's do this. But, you know, hope springs eternal. Excuse me. And here we are with yet another Kingpin. Speaking of underloved, underutilized champions, Kingpin's right up there. But then again, you could really just boost the entire little Daredevil circle there. With both Daredevils, with Elektra, with Punisher, frankly, with Kingpin. Even give OG Spidey some love. Just because they're old doesn't mean they have to be useless. Put that on a shirt. Be my motto. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I'm useless. Man, I'm falling apart today. It's way too early for that kind of nonsense. And, you know, maybe one of these days I'll learn how to play Surfer too. See, the problem is that there's too many cool things to do in this game. You know? It's really fun and it's really amazing because it's one of those games that's really easy to pick up and learn, but really hard to master, which I love. And that's one of the things I love about the game the most. You know, like the mechanics are simple: punch, 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 block, punch, 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 block, punch, punch, special, lather, rinse, repeat. Right? You get some energy. You go into the alliance or the monthly event quest, burn some energy, get some free stuff, pop some crystals. There you go. But at the same time, there's 160 odd some champions in the game now, and each and every one has their own kit. Each and every one has a whole bunch of specials, and just that ridiculously intricate game of like rock, paper, scissors with everybody. You know, it's so much fun. What's up, Shirmoy? How you doing, man? I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little tired. It's been a long day, and there's been a lot of stuff going on. But it's been a good day. There's a lot of cool stuff, a lot of things to do, a lot of new things to try out, and it was fun. It was fun. How about you? How are you feeling after that initial run with Act 7? And let's just do this. I gotta say, I think right off the bat, I'm really not interested in doing a Legends run for this. Because that just seems like that would just be so painful. Speaking of painful, I should just not get punched in the face by Omega. That'd be preferable. It'd just be really painful. Yeah. I'm leaving that up, by the way. I got completely wrecked. I played so poorly, but you know, it was still fun. And I think what I appreciate most about the beta is that, well, I mean, they give you 500,000 gold on top of whatever you had already, and everything costs 1 gold in the store, so you can just blow revives and potions to your heart's content. Which is great, because based on my performance, I definitely needed a few revives. Yeah, right? Especially with whatever new champs they wind up coming out with between now and then. I'm hoping they wind up tweaking a couple of the paths, especially that bleed poison path. Because right now, as it stands, it's workable and it's plausible to do currently. It's just such a long slog. Yeah. But I think that's good, though, too. I think it's good. Because if the only thing you ever see on YouTube are just people playing expertly all the time, you know, it's not fun to watch. Because it's not real. Plus, because no one plays that way. No one plays that way. It'll be interesting, too, to see who the new IT champions wind up being, you know? Doom wound up being this super IT champ for Abyss, and no one really saw that one coming. AEGON has been super popular in the past, and I think he can do well on a couple paths here, but he can't do well on all the paths. Same with Ghost. Ghost is effectively useless for Chapter 1, or at least the boss. I wound up doing the unblockable path right up at the top, which, I mean, you know, you saw. But I think that's definitely the easy path, because you can take that path with almost anybody, and then just dance around, provided you're skilled enough to dex and intercept. But the champions you fight I would say save that Gilly just because she's annoying. It's definitely plausible. Or if you bring a nullified champ, you're just going to be having a laugh. Cheers. You know, I'm pretty sure, I want to keep testing it out, and I might just wind up taking her up, but I think Squirrel Girl is going to be extremely useful for a couple paths there. Especially for that bleed poison. Just because she has huge, short, bursty damage. Bleed damage. Everybody else, it takes such a long time to ramp up, or they deal a lot of bleeds that do little damage, or the big bleeds just take forever to do that damage, and you've got less than 10 seconds. Yeah, she could well. You should try that one out. Because I forget what rank is your Supreme at right now? I did appreciate watching Seaton's video with him taking Sunspot against that Medusa. Because I don't think AEGON would be a bad, or the Emma Frost, not Medusa. But I think AEGON might wind up being pretty decent for that as well. He doesn't really need to worry about the heal block. And then by that point he should bypass most of that armor, I think, too. Yeah, it's super slow. Super slow. I really want to take in Claire to just see how she does, because she can get a lot of bleeds or a lot of poisons really fast. It's just that from my experience, they don't do a whole lot of damage, so you can get a bunch of debuffs on somebody, but the overall damage isn't super impressive. But I mean, like I said, I'm gonna need to take a closer look at it, because the last time I tested it out really was against the Medusa boss in 6.3, the Do You Bleed one, and Claire was just an awful option for that. Yeah, I know, right? Or rank down tickets. That way you could just rank down somebody on your roster and cannibalize the materials. They had the rank down tickets for the Hulkbuster beta, I thought. No, I'm positive, because that's actually how I wound up being able to do some of the rank ups. Because I cannibalized some of the tier 5 from some other people. Speaking of, this could be a fun matchup. Gilly v Emma. Provided, of course, she just... Well, guess it didn't matter. Didn't matter, she didn't throw a special. We got there. And that's what, win 19? Yeah. So one more and they can start diving in some of these 6 stars, get their clock going. I was actually debating if I even wanted to start in on this arena or just go for it and just forget about it and just dive straight away into the beta, but we'll see. We wind up just the beta. That stuff's dense. Almost as dense as me. Aye. It'll be interesting because assuming that Act 7 takes a year to come out, just like Act 6 did, if they're going to wind up tying the Galactus stuff into this story mode, or if Galactus is just going to be a monthly quest story arc. Uh-oh. That's not awful. Could have been worse. The fact that they've got, oh, who is it? Is it Gwenperion? Is that who it is? From the MODOK Labs? Whoever the Gwenpool hybrid was. She's the boss of Chapter 3, so that'll be fun. Just you wait, they'll bring back Ice Phoenix somehow. Like, hey guys, remember Ice Phoenix from years ago and how much hate she got because of how impossible we made it to fight her? Well, surprise! Thank you for giving me that opening. Appreciate that. Yeah. I wound up just blitzing it with Ghost. But Sparkles is challenging because every time you use a medium, it's a failed armor break, which means it's extra power. So if you're super solid at dexing Emma and then going in for the special intercept, that might be a valid strategy, but fun times. Alright, and let's punch through his charges. Yeah. And I wouldn't put it past them to revive Ice Phoenix again, especially since they brought Diaper Man Weapon X back and amped up his abilities for a modern setting. So he still has the amazing unblockable unstoppable like he always did, but now it's just so much denser and so much worse. Yeah, no, I know. And even if you healed it back to full, right, and brought a healing champ like a Wolverine, or pretty sure Doctor Strange was the ticket to beating Ice Phoenix. That Cold Snap would wind up just draining your max out whoever, like, take off 80% health right from the get-go before the fight even really gets going. Oh, this is new. Interesting. They throw a 60k fight at me with... Well, I guess because I still have the 2 rank 3s. I'm not even used to this roster yet. But you know, so long as there's balance, I'm sure we'll get through fighting Ice Phoenix again. They'd want to throw like Unstoppable Ant at us again. Just for kicks. And then the only thing that Frank Strange could do is just heal or not die at the end, right? Like, it's just basically Doctor Strange with Punisher's survivability sig. Or they could come up with some new hybrids with like the 2 years worth of champs since then. Wouldn't that be something? I think that would be a lot of fun for like a monthly event, so everybody could enjoy it, you know? Because like out of the entire player base, who's really going to be jumping into Act 7? Like, how many people are really going to do it within the first year of it coming out, you know? And those champs are just so silly, so much fun, just in concept and execution, you know? Yeah, I hope so. I kind of hope that's what Variant 5 winds up being. You know, just some of the silly outliers. Like, one of the chapters are just the Modoc's lab hybrids. One chapter is just a bunch of the various, like, Deadpooloids and Symbioids that we've had. Just the random characters we haven't seen for a while. Just mix it up a little bit. Ninja Boss asks, how do I feel about HQ Sean grinding for AEGON? Well, it's a free country and he can grind for whoever he wants in whatever arena he wants. But it's a real dick move. It really is. Like, I don't know if the idea behind that is to just go for the challenge points, knowing that he's going to be going high just so you can say that you were, you know, going for #1 and got #1 in the AEGON arena, or what, but I don't know, that, I don't know. I don't want to speak ill of anybody, but if you've got the champ, you got the champ maxed, and your 6-star roster is ridiculously deep to the point where you don't need 5 stars anymore. I don't really see why you need to waste that much time just grinding for a 5-star, you know? Because all he would have gotten is the 400 6-star shards and 100 odd some 5-star shards for the dupe. Because a duplicate 5-star in arena doesn't net you the full 275 shards that a normal dupe does. You get like a 3/4 of that. So, I mean, like I said, there isn't anything illegal about it. It's not game breaking. It isn't against TOS. But I don't. It might, yeah. Tacky. Yeah, I know, and there's definitely people. Cheers. Definitely people who do that, you know. Whether it's, I don't know, whether it's a hobby, whether it's just something you really enjoy doing, whether it's just a personal goal or challenge, or, you know, and I don't know their situation either, you know. But I don't know. Like if there's any other champion, like really just about any other champion, I wouldn't care. You know, go for it. But it's an AEGON. It's the one guy you need as like the golden ticket to all endgame content so far. You know, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to give it to somebody who actually needs it. For either for a first AEGON or first time awakening to make AEGON actually, you know, worthwhile. Yeah. Or what's worse, you have a 6-star AEGON duped already too. Such that you wouldn't even be using the 5-star anymore anyway. But I suppose it's just really because it's AEGON, you know. Again, because if it was anybody else, no one would care. The same could be said of any of us for going for, you know, basic 4 stars or featured 3s and 4s that we're taking them away from newer players or players who actually could use those as opposed to, you know, speaking for myself, champs that are just going to be, you know, trophy bench champs just to have one version of them. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting discussion, and I'm glad people are actually talking about it. Nothing's going to change. We're not going to get any sort of word from Kabam because Kabam, it's not their, you know. I don't think they really have a dog in the fight. People are playing their game, and that's that. But that's that. Now, if he shows up again in the top 150 for round 2, then jeez. Yeah. Yeah, and that's all I'm doing too. Yeah. Or even still, even if like your best thing, your favorite thing in this game is grinding arena, right? You could still grind either the 4-star arenas or, you know, just if you just take a couple days off, do something else. It's like there's nothing else going on. Because it's not even a prestige move either. AEGON's not a prestige champ. You would kind of have to get to 2000. It's possible. Not entirely plausible, but it's possible. Because if you just say you have a team of 6-stars of Ghost, Wasp, and I don't know, we'll just say either Elsa or I don't know, someone else, Corvus, maybe just say. Right? 3 champs that are 6-stars that are ranked up to get massive points, but the important thing is that they can speed kill. Wasp is a 5-hit combo and a heavy. Ghost is effectively what? 3 sets of mediums phasing and then maybe a special one if you need it. And then Corvus is just Corvus. Or Elsa with suicides. Let the degen do the work for you. Anyway, you can get through an entire team in like a minute and a half. Speed running it, right? So then, you know, just say plausibly that's 3,000 minutes. Over the course of 3 days, it's not, it doesn't sound like it'd be a fun thing that anyone would or should do. I don't recommend doing that. Like me for arena, right? My streak is, well, I stopped at 777, and that was for the Doom arena. And that was me doing nothing but, you know, nothing but for 3 days. Eat, sleep, grind arena. If I go on errands, I'm grinding arena while I'm doing the errands. If I'm, you know, if we're going someplace, I'm driving the car, I'm passenger, and I'm grinding arena. I'm getting 3, maybe 4 hours of sleep a night, which is awful. With an all-nighter the last night. Burning through everybody, and the best I could get at was 777. I've had alliance mates that have done low 1000s with a bit more time on their hands, but 2K is ridiculous. Yeah, especially when you consider that nowadays for a 6-star rank 3 team you can, and Odin gets you about maybe 12 million points, best case. But some people are like that, man. They got that kind of play money. Wasn't in my alliance, but it was in the family chat, right? Dude was a hotelier. You know, he ran hotels, and this is just his outlet for fun. So it's like, okay, I mean, that's cool, but you blow money on this game like I wouldn't ever be able to or ever want to, personally. I've said it before, and I'm say it again. I don't ever critique or shame people for spending money or not spending money. It's your money, and so long as you don't have a problem and it all works out for you, then go for it. But still, at the same time, damn. Yeah, amen to that. That, Citizen, and the fact that once you do finally take an off day, you're always still reaching for your phone just because it's habit. That's what I hate. Like, it's so ingrained in my subconscious, is like, oh, are my champs refreshed? Or like, oh, I've got 10 minutes here, I can grind out a couple of arenas. Or, hey, there's an alliance event going on, I should check in. Something like that, where it's always like, you got that itch. You know, by the end of the day, then I've come off that. I've you know, gotten to enjoy my day and occupy my mind with all the other cool, fun life things that I've got going on, but still. But, you know, it's like a double-edged sword, too. It's like a bit of Stockholm Syndrome, maybe. Because, like, when I'm playing, like right now, I'm having fun. It's fun. So, it's not really like Stockholm Syndrome. It's a bit of hyperbole, but it's very easy to lose time to it, I will say that. Like most things you do when you're having fun, right? When you're playing games, when you're playing sports, when you're watching a show or a film that you're really invested in, spending time with someone that you really enjoy spending time with. Yeah, they just slips by. It's like that. Fun game though. And I do think it's cool that everyone likes something different about it too. You know, you've got your arena rats, like yours truly. You have the people that just live for Alliance War. You have people that actually enjoy the story and following along with the story and the monthly stories and all that. You get the collectors who want one of everybody. And the people that just who wind up ranking up like the the 6-star Electros and the 6-star Rhinos or Punisher 99s just because they like the character. I don't know. I think it depends on what you're going for. Because for me, if I'm going for a champ in arena, it 100% is a job. It 100% is a job, especially if it's a popular champ, right? Like AEGON right now, or I always talk about the Doom grind, but Doom for sure. But even if it isn't something crazy like 110 million cutoff, right? Even 70 for AEGON is nuts. And 40 is a bit of a stretch, really. So yeah, I mean that for me, yeah, that's work. That's a job. But just, you know, getting to 15, 16 million right now just for the 1 to 10 over the course of 3 days. Nah, for me that's still fun. Because it's still casual. I'm in a very fortunate position to have a deep enough 6-star roster where effectively that's just running through 6-stars as they refresh twice a day over 3 days. Yeah, exactly. You know, if you like somebody, go for it. Like, I ranked up my Elsa Bloodstone. Spoilers for the video tomorrow. But I finally got to rank up my Elsa Bloodstone, and I just love playing her. I love her kit. I think she's a lot of fun. Is she the best skill champ? Nope. Is she the best prestige option? Nope. Should I have burned a skill awakening stone on her? Probably not. But she's my personal favorite, and I have no regrets there whatsoever. So, you know, and everyone's got their own somebody. That's the other cool thing, though, too, and I kind of wish that the game would sway back towards that way as opposed to the direction it seems to be going, where it's just a constant prestige race, right? So if you want to be in an alliance and get the rewards needed to rank up the champs that you want to take up, you gotta first play the prestige game. And then once you do that, and you've got enough to squeak by, then you can rank up the champ that you enjoy playing or want to play with. Because otherwise, here's Fraggle Rock, here's Phoenix, here's Silver Surfer. Have fun with them. Not bad champs, but just not most people's first options. So it'd be cool if there was some sort of either incentive to actually play the game or have fun with the champs that you want to play, or at the very least not incentivize prestige as much as currently is being pushed. Just to let everybody else kind of just play the game their way. Which I suppose if you're out of an alliance, that's entirely what the game is. You know, you don't need to worry about all that prestige nonsense. You don't need to worry about war or AQ, where prestige is king. You can just play the game, rank up who you want to rank up for story, and that's it. Yeah, exactly. especially with how long it takes to get the materials to rank somebody up in the first place, right? So, you know, if you gotta bite the bullet and rank one person up for the team, fine, right? It's a 30-person squad. Everyone, you know, pulls their weight with their donations, but you know, sure, you can have the one champ take one for the team. But exactly, when your roster is entirely of champs taking one for the team, it's you gotta have that you time too, you know. Plus, the game just isn't fun when everyone is just running Corvus, Proxima, and Doom, right, and going into war and fighting Annihilus, Domino, Infinity Men, and you know the usual suspects. Because if everybody's fighting the same game with the same champions the same way, then that's so boring. Especially with the game as rich and deep as this one is, with 160 unique characters. Oh, well, my hat's off to you, Bravo. My hat is off to you, because that Prestige game sucks. That's why I do kind of appreciate what they're doing with new champs. Like, you had a huge Prestige push, right? And then all of a sudden, Doom and Surfer came out within weeks of each other, and just pushed the Prestige game up by huge margins, right? They just blew the lid open on it. But since then, which has been about 4 months now, going into 5, everybody else has been less than that, right? It's a diversify the pool a little bit more with still higher prestige champs. Uh-oh. Because all the champs that are coming out now are still higher than most of the champs that were out before Doom and Surfer. But everyone since then, again, is still relatively par and still not beating Doom and Surfer, so... that sort of mentality of like, well, why even bother ranking somebody up right now when a higher prestige option is coming out in 2 weeks? That mentality is kind of taking a back seat for right now. It's been nice. It's not gonna last, but for now, it's nice. Maybe they're just waiting to see where the chips fall with the rank 3s. You know, it'd be interesting to see the numbers of how many people are finishing Abyss or Act 6 on a weekly or monthly basis. Alrighty, Shirmoy. Take care, man. Thanks for stopping by. It's good chatting with you. And good luck on Act 7 tomorrow again. Because part of me also wonders on the business end of the stick, if when they, what was it, a couple months ago, came out and said that 5 stars were still the main focus and 6 stars weren't the focus of progression just yet. To which most everybody just rolled their eyes and groaned, but makes you wonder if they were just saying that because that was the PR thing to say, or if they actually think that. I just hope they don't wind up coming out with a new tier of crystal anytime soon. I mean, I don't think they're going to be doing a 7-star yet. Hopefully for a good long while. But Me personally, I'm not happy that they wound up coming out with the featured Grandmasters, because that just blew the lid open on the entire game, and it has not been the same since. Because at least before, you were still playing the luck game with the whales, right? Whales would still wind up getting more of the 6-star champs just because they play more and they pop more 5s, but everyone was still susceptible to the same luck and drop rates out of base 6-star crystals, right? But then they added the FGMCs, and then you had the 0.1% chance to pull the 6-star of your choosing, of your liking, I should say. And then it's just been open season ever since. You got the huge prestige race kicking off. Kind of makes you wonder what the game would be like if they didn't do that, or if the game would even still be around if they didn't do that. This is a brilliant business decision on their part. I'll give them that. Brilliant business decision. But it completely marginalized the FTP player. BG put out a pretty good video about that a while back. I think that was about the same time when he dropped out of 4 Loki. And the things that he said, I mean, they make sense. They're good points. Yeah. Oh, you think it'll be after the 7-1 completion? I mean, hopefully. I wouldn't mind that so much, just because it's still focusing on existing tiers of champs. So if you wind up having to pay 600 units for, guaranteed 4-star with a, just say, 40% chance or 50% chance of getting a 40, whatever, of a 5-star, and maybe like a 10% chance of getting a 6, something like that. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Expensive if you're whaling out, but better odds. It's just interesting though too, because they still need some of the uncollected or a Cavalier level. Like they need a Cavalier level Arena Crystal and a Cav Loyalty Crystal too. Because there's no reason there shouldn't be like a 6-star Unstoppable Colossus and a 6-star OG Punisher. They're not good champs. They're not bad, but they're not good. Especially when you put them side by side by some of the other champs that probably aren't going to get the 6-star treatment, like Quake or Medusa or Blade. It's like the comparison isn't even, it's not even there. Oh, there we go. But who knows, maybe they'll wind up doing all of that in one big fell swoop, Have that new 7.1 crystal, or that new Act 7 crystal, whatever. Do a Cavalier level arena and loyalty bit, and then introduce basic 5-star arenas. Or a 6-star arena, even. Because that'd be the way they get around. Or, you know what they even could just do? Is just get rid of the 3-star arena altogether. You want the 3-star champ? You can either purchase it, the character itself with units. Yeah, just with units, right? You want the 3-star, 1,000 units. Or 500 units, something. And that's the only way you can get it. It's an exclusive character. If you want the 4-star, there's the 4-star arena. There, if you want the 5, there's the 5-star arena. Or if you want to gamble for the 75 or 100 spots that we have for the 6-star, have at it. That way it doesn't overwhelm the system with arenas all over the place, but you kind of thin the herd out a little bit too in the 5-star arena. Bravo, it just really depends on where your roster's at. And if you've done a basic completion of Abyss. Because if you've got even just like 1 or 2 of the horsemen, I would recommend doing Abyss over Act 6. It's quicker, it's cheaper, and the rewards are a lot better. And arguably less stressful too. Excuse me. Well, I'm really happy that they wound up buffing the 6-4 and this Act 6 completion rewards. It still doesn't feel like it's worth it. I mean, especially relative to Abyss, right? So for Abyss, for 100% completion, you get 3 full Tier 5 class catalysts. You get a whole heap ton of Tier 2A, a whole heap ton of Tier 5 basic, a whole bunch of shards, Nexus, something, a generic Awakening Stone, whole bunch of goodies. Act 6, not so much. Plus you gotta go through the stress of 6-2 and then just the grind of getting through each chapter and each of the different acts. I mean, part of that is also probably due to the fact that I wound up saving Act 6 till right before 6-4 came out, so I did 6, 2, 3, and then 6-4, 100% over the course of probably about a month, maybe a month and a half. So I'm pretty burnt out of all that. Nice. Well, congrats on the new pull, or the new champ at least. I'm hoping that they've got the new variant 5 for next month. It's been a while. And then not only do they have the new variant, but then they've decided to make the 2015, 2016, and now 2017 gem generic instead of class specific. And I think they really should, because otherwise they'd really be screwing over people who pull Mystic. They're like, oh yeah, that's right, we only released 1 Mystic champion a year. Whoops. Science was that way too for a while before Void and Beardo came out. And Sentry. Alright, so we got that, and let's do that. That's pretty cool. Almost done with my 6 stars. Oh yeah, been going for an hour and a half. See, there you go. Lost track of time. But we're doing pretty good. If you remember seeing that, I'm already over 4 mil. It's about hitting 5 tonight. Maybe. Excuse me. Or Hyperion. Hyperion would be a lot of fun as a 6. Although I think if they do wind up doing Hyperion, they might wind up just releasing him a la carte, just like they did Star-Lord. It's like, hey, there's a 6-star Hyperion available in the game, and if you want him, you can only get him in the crystal. No arena, no featured 6 first, no basic pool. Yeah, try your luck for that 0.1% chance. To that I say, poppycock. But I mean, I do say that. But if they came out with a Quake version of that, I'd be in trouble. Go bye-bye units. But I think a 6-star Quake would probably break the game. She already breaks the game. But then to have a scalable version of a 6-star, where you still got rank 4 and 5 to go. You know, if that's what it takes to make incursion crystals incorporate 6 stars in any meaningful way, then, you know, I may be willing to take that for the team. It's really cool that they rebooted dungeons. Incursions are a huge improvement on that, but the rewards are still garbage, in my opinion. I think it leaves a lot to be desired. Because like one of my biggest gripes about dungeons is that even if you did every single dungeon and got every single point that they gave you every single time, mind you, it takes about an hour every 3 days to get all the different milestones, right? You would still need to do like 2.5 sets of dungeons over the course of 2 months and change before you can even save up for 1 dungeon crystal, right? And even at that, even if you hoard shards, you can only get 1 crystal ever, which is so dumb, I spent 2.5 months saving up for this one thing to have a 10% chance at the champion I want, and then that's it? Nah, man. Let me save up for like 8 months, and then try 4 crystals and just get Loki 4 times. But Incursions is still kind of that way. Now, if they swapped over Incursion crystals for Nexus crystals, then I'd be on board. Sign me up. I'm diving into Incursions. Put every point up that I can, just to farm those Nexus Incursion crystals. Because at that point, sure, why not? Give the people who they want. You can raise the cost a little bit. It's worth it to get the person you want. You could still do the 1 crystal purchase ever bit like they do currently. And then just put a couple real banger champs in each one. So then you have to choose. Definitely be a guaranteed way to get people to flock back. Ooh, excuse me. Flock back. Pow, 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 pow. Ah. There we go. Yeah, no kidding. I think if they fixed the menuing in incursions, that'd be a lot better. Because most of the time spent in incursions is just menuing. Which is really unfortunate. It's fun, but it takes longer to get through it now, I think, than Dungeons ever did. Oh, cool. I hit 5. Alright, well, then I'm gonna just get through this round. And then I think we're gonna be in a good place. And that's the real shame of it, though, too, because, you know, again, it's fun. It's fun being able to tag team with an actual person, you know. One of your alliance mates, one of your friends, you know, some rando, I guess, too. But then it isn't entirely 100% pass-fail either, you know. If you wind up having a bad round, your buddy can still carry you. Plus, you know, then they added ways to get you back into the game too, which is really fun. So I think the bare bones are there. It's got a really healthy structure, foundation. They just need to keep iterating on it a bit more. Just like they did with the rank up arrows. Like, it was cool that they added them the first time that they added them, the way they added them, but you know, 2 updates ago it turned into something super clunky that you couldn't even read. And then in this last update they fixed it, so it's a lot more, you know, optically pleasing, and it makes more sense to just look at each champ quick and then know, hey, these guys are ready to go, hey, these guys are almost ready to go, hey, those guys aren't even remotely close. So here's to hoping. Here's to hoping they just keep iterating. Alright. But that, I think, is a good stopping point, guys. I wound up hitting 5 mil here. Did 38 rounds of arena over the last hour 40, which isn't too bad at all. But I'm going to call that a night. Alright, guys. Want to thank you very much for tuning in. For those of you who watch the stream live, thanks for hanging out. It was really cool getting to chat with you guys live while putting up some points and really chill arena. For those of you who had been sticking with watching the replay, cheers. It's real cool. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope to catch you on a future live stream live. Just drop by and say hey. If I could get you guys, though, to like and subscribe to the channel. Of course, that thing had to cut out right as I'm signing off. But each and every bit helps. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you in advance. Really appreciate it.
I got live streams going just about every night and a bunch of one-off videos that are being uploaded currently as we speak. So, there's cool stuff to stay tuned for. But until next time, everybody, take care. Talk soon. Stay safe. And be well, everyone. Bye for now.